and this sounds like a Southern California movie: Palm Trees and Power Lines.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. So we'll go back to our favorite topic of Sundance, sexuality and the desire to have sex. So Palm Trees and Power Lines, based on a short film by Jamie Dack, an NYU film student graduate. And this film, in a nutshell, is about sex trafficking in a very personal, obscure point of view where you would not realize this was happening around you. And it's a quiet film, but very powerful. The acting is superb. It has newcomer Lily McInerny, I think is fantastic. I hope we get to see her more and more. And I think she fits the indie world really well. Jonathan Tucker, a man of many trades, extremely talented person. And briefly, Gretchen Mol. So Lily McInerny, her character is a high school, it's summer high school, hanging out with her friends. They all smoke pot, they drink beer, it's hot, they're sort of a lower middle class family. She uses the power lines to get to places, the paths under power lines to get to the beach and to do things with her friends. And there's a dine and ditch in a cafe, and the Jonathan Tucker character sees her and makes eyes with her. And then everyone's running and he picks her up and then slowly makes a relationship happen with her, and then finally brings her into the sex trafficking scenario. And all along she's falling in love with this guy, mainly because he's mature, he's good looking, he says everything right, he gives her a bracelet. He's nothing like any of her friends who seem like idiots half the time. And the Gretchen Mol character, although very slight, in her world, she's a single mom, she's a real estate agent, men are coming and going, she's breaking up, they're coming back. So her idea of what a relationship should be, what sex is supposed to be, because she's having sex with her dweeby friends and, one of the guys, and the Jonathan character brings it to a whole nother level. And I'm not going to spoil it, but the ending is not what I thought it would be. This is a really well done film in many ways. And I think for the budget they probably had, they got a lot out of it. They got excellent acting roles. It's a sleeper and it has a message. And I watched the Q&A mainly because I wanted to know what these guys were channeling to do their characters so well, but be able to get real acting out of it, not just, coverage. If does that make sense? Like a lot of these indie films, I feel like they get coverage because they only had 5 minutes. They have to have this scene and that's it. But this was different, and a lot of coaching went into it. And I think given in the times that we're living in, it's a very poignant film. This is a classic Sundance film. And it's not a Cuties that had a lot of controversy. It's not a Lena Dunham film in any stretch of the imagination. This is about a real life topic that's happening, and it's happening around us, and we probably don't even know it. So, I was really psyched that I watched this movie. Yeah, and this director, there's more to come. Absolutely, she's good. She's really good.
What do you think? Does this movie have distribution yet? Is it something people can see?
Not yet. Not yet.
Yeah, I actually listened to a podcast so not too long ago, where the whole subject, it was a woman who was sex trafficked, and it was on a podcast actually on YouTube called You Are Here.
No.
Is the name of the podcast, hosted by Elijah Schaefer and Sydney Watson. In any case, there was a woman they had on who was sex trafficked. And what was fascinating about the conversation was the way she described it was she didn't know she was being sex trafficked. It starts out, it's almost like a grooming thing where, there's certain behaviors that are encouraged. And then she found herself in a position that she could not get out of. And then she realized, like, oh my, she realized what had happened to her. She went on to, and I'm sorry, I'm forgetting her name, but she went on to where she helps girls caught in this situation. So I don't know. I've seen a couple of movies that have dealt with sex trafficking. They were not very good. I mean, I saw one that was like an action movie, and it's just like, this is not an action movie topic necessarily, but
No,
this is something that, if you know something about it, is horrific, happens more often than we would like to admit. And I mean, you know, I'd like to see a movie about that. I'd like to see, truthfully, probably rather see a documentary about it, which I'm sure would be heartbreaking. But the more that topic can be discussed in a mature way, I think the better.
Well, and
So
what's
sounds
really,
good.
yeah, and what Jamie Dack, who I think has had experience, I think something happened to her that this story came about, but she wouldn't actually talk about it in the Q&A. But what I think is so powerful is this character, this Jonathan Tucker character. You and I know this guy. We know him. We do business with him. We've seen him. Friends know him, and you just don't see it coming. And that's why I thought it was really powerful.
Well, I mean, it's a topic that doesn't get talked about nearly enough, and
Yeah.
I don't know, you know, you can't do an episode of CSI just about that and leave it at that. It's, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, it's wild.
yeah.
Yeah. So it was
Well,
really well done. I'm really, really glad I got to see it.